And joining us now to talk more about the border is John Sandweg, former acting director of ICE. It is good to see you again. And let's talk about this. Jorge Ventura saying the underground tunnels are being used for smuggling on the American side of the Rio Grande. Can you tell us more about this? And how can U.S. Border Patrol stop these smuggling routes underground?
Well, Natasha, it's really difficult. And I think what you're seeing there with those tunnels is that the cartels will use every tactic available to get drugs into the United States and individuals. A lot of times, the tunnels, though, are primarily they take a lot of investment. Traditionally, we see those with narcotics trafficking. But Natasha, I've been in tunnels along the San Diego U.S. border that go from Tijuana, almost a mile deep into San Diego, loading up into a warehouse. So again, it's not surprising as more forces being brought to bear on the cartels. We're again seeing them adapt and using just all sorts of tactics and techniques in order to get drugs and people into the United States.
What kind of technology or methods do we have to detect these underground tunnels, or does it literally just end up being discovered eventually when you find the warehouse exit point?
No, the best way is intelligence and undercover investigations. Getting embedded, getting wiretaps on cartels, getting informants from the cartels that work with the United States and share information about the where the tunnels are. There are technologies that are used. There are ground-based radars and sonar systems that try to identify tunnels. We've had some; they were somewhat effective, but really the best way is human intelligence and in criminal investigations. Working those investigations, getting a tip that there's a tunnel, and then that allows you to get up on the tunnel. And then ideally, Natasha, instead of just rushing in and seizing the tunnel right away, you can follow the drugs as they come out of the tunnel. Where do they go? Identify the stash houses in the United States, and then take the whole operation down.
Yeah, I appreciate that context. I want to ask you, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem saying polygraph tests are going to be used to help crack down on moles, on leakers that agency officials say have stunted immigration enforcement actions. Do you agree with that move?
I have real concerns about this. You have to trust and you have to have a strong relationship with your workforce. You have to remember, Natasha, the men and women at ICE and at CBP and at Border Patrol, right? These are people that put their lives on the line and do dangerous work for the United States. And boy, I just this idea that you get polygraphed when you come on board as a part of your vetting and your background check process. That's not uncommon to be polygraphed before you become an agent. But once you're an agent, to say we're going to polygraph you in order to find leaks, it just seems to send a message of distrust and kind of put a us versus them between management and the political leadership and the workforce. I just worry that that has a real chilling effect on the relationship in a way that impairs ICE's ability to do its job and sends the wrong message to these officers and agents who go out every day and really put their lives on the line for to make our country a little bit safer.
Let me ask you about context around the numbers we're seeing, because the illegal border crossings dropped sharply in February, just over 8,300. That is a fraction of what they were same time a year ago. Can the Trump administration claim the bulk of the credit here? Are there any other factors driving that decrease?
Look, the big factor is the Biden administration first in the summer modified the asylum rules. And so it made it a lot harder for migrants to claim asylum. That was the real draw that was bringing people here. At the same time, Mexico stepped up and did a lot more enforcement, both limiting migrants who are flying into the country and stopping the flow at the southern border. But the Trump administration also deserves credit. The rhetoric they've used and some of the additional legal changes that they've done on top of that have, at the moment, dropped the flow down to very low, record low. Natasha, I don't think, though, there's just so much pent-up demand to come to the United States, whether it's people who are just seeking a better life or whether it's drug traffickers seeking to bring narcotics into the United States. I don't think we can say we declare victory at this point. We're going to see a shift in tactics. Just like we see those tunnels we just saw a second ago, we're going to start seeing the smugglers and the coyotes adapting different tactics, and I would not be surprised if we see a return. Instead of just large numbers of people coming across the border saying, I want asylum in the United States, I think we're going to start seeing people trying to sneak back into the United States, and we're getting back into that cat and mouse game that we've seen at the border, really for decades up until the last 6 to 8 years.
Yeah, we appreciate it. John Sandweg, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your screen. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.